On Wednesday, the Series A, along with GPS 14125, is somewhat thicker still. It's a little over 10 inches of asphalt. So we've got a pretty good cross-section of what they do here. We don't have any crushed limestone base, but can't have everything. I'm standing at the beginning of 01C340, and you can see that I attempted to make a numeral change on this, which didn't come out very successfully on the spray paint when I was hand painting the numbers. The reason I did that is we've got a somewhat higher severity level or higher incidence of cracking on this section here, or a little less of it here in this area than we did in the normal sequence, where on down the way we would get into where we would have had the control section. So we're putting the control in here because we don't want to have to fool with it very much. One reason perhaps that it is not in as deteriorated a condition, even though it is cracked all up and down in here, but it hasn't deteriorated so much, perhaps because we're right up on a crest vertical curve. We don't have any sag. We're not on any sags in any of these test sections, but perhaps the water is shed somewhat better in here. We're at a very slight fill right around natural ground here. All the soil that we've noted, by the way, and I've seen the soil survey reports for this project, is A24 classification, which will put it in, it's a clay sand, put it in the coarse field, and make all three of our projects here, by the way, in Alabama, coarse grain subgrade, which I know TTI was quite interested in having, and I think they'll be happy to find that out. We'll shut off the tape right now. As I said, before I do that, as I said, there is some cracking throughout here, and here's what I'm talking about. I want to save a little bit of power, though, to show what I was speaking of also on up ahead, where we've got considerably more cracking, and I think it would be a more useful experiment to use the crack sealing on that rather than on a section like this. That bothers me a little bit is having this implement company or supply company here right in the middle of all of our test sections. Although they do maintenance on large rigs, you don't see any in here, and what comes in here isn't loaded. Generally what they have is tractors and supplies for trailers and so on like that. In my judgment, I didn't feel that it really affected the traffic stream in here sufficiently to warrant us moving the sections around or shuffling them around again after we were already out here and marked several of them. But still not crazy about having this right here. Just got to use what you got, though. And up to 01C330, and you can see this is the one that I swapped numerals with one on back behind this. We were going to have another section between the last one and this one, but it was atypical in terms of distress on the project. We've got some places, perhaps you can see them back there, where we've got some patching and so on, and I didn't feel that was representative of the rest of the project. I thought getting into that sort of distress type and so on was atypical and would ruin our comparison here in the experiment. Even so, this is a little more of what I was talking about here. This is the crack seal section, and you can see we've got a bit more